Most people assume that Sonic the Hedgehog made his home video game debut on June 23, 1991, when the game with his name in the title was released for the Sega Genesis. Most people, however, are wrong. Months before Sega's Speedy Blue mascot officially made his way to living rooms across America, he made a cameo in an entirely different game. As discovered by YouTuber Larry Bundy Jr., Sonic's first real foray into home entertainment is a weird, unpolished, and borderline illegal project, and one that's been almost entirely forgotten as the years have passed. In the late 80s, Sega was in bad shape. While the Genesis, known internationally as the Mega Drive, hit stores in 1988, 2 years before Nintendo released its own 16-bit console, Sega lagged behind Nintendo in both sales and reputation. In Japan, the release of Super Mario Bros. 3 completely overshadowed the Genesis launch, and Sega's current mascot, Alex Kidd, didn't resonate with audiences like Nintendo's portly plumber. Sega began searching for a new mascot to head up a franchise and help the company gain a foothold in the market. An internal Sega team known as AM8 started developing ideas, and one designer, Naoto Oshima, came up with a blue-fanged hedgehog that he called Mr. Needlemouse. Unlike Mario, a middle-aged man who moved at a relatively languid pace, Mr. Needlemouse was quick and cool. He played guitar in a rock band. He even had a human girlfriend named Madonna. Most crucially, both Mr. Needlemouse and his game moved really, really fast. Sega executives liked Mr. Needlemouse, but decided that he was a little too edgy, even for the 90s. A redesign ditched the fangs and the band to make him cuddlier and more appealing to an all-ages audience, and gave him a new name, Sonic, to better reflect the character's signature speed. Meanwhile, development on Sonic's first solo title began. Like Mario, Sonic leaped from platform to platform collecting coins, or in this case rings, while fighting enemies and scoring power-ups. Unlike Mario's Mushroom Kingdom, Sonic's world was full of curved surfaces and slopes, multi-tiered pathways, and an unrelenting pace. As development on Sonic the Hedgehog continued, developers quickly realized that they had something special. Sega of America's head of marketing, Al Nielsen, traveled the country conducting demonstrations that put Mario and Sonic head-to-head. Roughly 80% of players who participated preferred Sonic. Sonic stole the Consumer Electronics Show in 1991, while Sega made sure that Sonic graced the covers of as many video game magazines as possible in the months leading up to the release. If you were into video games in '91, you couldn't escape Sonic. He was everywhere. A few months before Sonic the Hedgehog's big debut on the Genesis, the character made his first video game appearance in Radmobile, a racing game produced by Sega's AM2 development group. It wasn't much more than a small cameo, a toy Sonic charm hanging from the mirror above Radmobile's virtual dashboard. But as far as debuts go, it's not a bad one. Like Sonic, Radmobile is all about speed. But in 1991, Radmobile was still an arcade-only release. For home gaming, Sonic's first appearance didn't come from Sega at all, but a relatively unknown developer called Newbits on the RAM. These days, you probably know Factor 5 is the company that helped make Turrican a worldwide success, or is the developer behind the Star Wars Rogue Squadron flight simulators. In the company's early days, however, it produced a number of games that shamelessly ripped off more successful titles. One of their first big games, Katakis, was such a blatant clone of Activision's R-Type that Activision gave Factor 5 an ultimatum. If the company didn't develop R-Type's official Amiga port, Activision would sue them into oblivion. In the early 90s, Factor 5 established Newbits on the RAM, a subdivision devoted to making small, quick games on a limited budget and tight timeline. Unlike official Factor 5 releases, the Newbits games weren't sold at retail. Instead, they were designed to be distributed in video game magazines. Their first game, Quick and Silva, arrived with the June 1991 issue of Amiga Fun magazine, which actually hit stands in May. On the surface, it was a well-designed, low-budget platformer with 8 stages and a toe-tapping soundtrack. Reviewers liked Quick and Silva quite a bit, praising the graphics and the simple, wholesome gameplay. These days, though, it's far more notable for one of its enemies, who has blue hair, spikes, and big, wide eyes. That's right, one of Quick and Silva's main villains is Sonic the Hedgehog, who appeared in the game more than a month before his official console debut. It's not just Sonic who makes an unauthorized appearance in Quick and Silva. Almost every enemy is borrowed from another title. Bub from Bubble Bobble and Pogo, the hero of Nebulous, show up as well. So does the ship from R-Type and characters from Factor 5's own Turrican. Even the new characters are borrowed from existing franchises. One enemy is just Super Mario's head grafted onto a bouncing spring. Fortunately for Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog quickly overshadowed Factor 5's knockoff. When Sonic officially premiered in 1991, his game was an instant hit, sparking a franchise that spawned over 70 games and sold more than 85 million units, gathering insanely dedicated fans along the way. New Bits on the RAM and Factor 5 weren't quite as lucky. The New Bits label only produced one other game, a platformer called Metal Law, before disappearing. Factor 5 became a legitimate game developer, but its success didn't last. In 2007, their PlayStation 3 exclusive Lair was panned by critics, thanks to a control scheme so awkward that they sent out a guide after releasing telling viewers how to play the game. In 2009, Factor 5's American branch closed, and former employees subsequently filed a lawsuit accusing the company of cooking the books in order to avoid paying wages. Still, there's some hope. In 2017, Factor 5 co-founder Julian Eggebrecht revealed that he'd reacquired the rights to Turrican and hinted that a Switch version might be on the way. It's been a while, but Factor 5 might be poised for a big return. Let's just hope that they don't need Sonic's help to do it. Sega probably won't be as forgiving the second time. Thanks for watching. Click the SVG icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.